Hey guys, what's going on? Coming at you with a Sunday morning video. Before I get in this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions. I'm really trying to get to 700 subs by the end of this month. I think I'm 25 away, roughly, 25. So if you guys hit the subscribe button, it's much appreciated. So I want to do something a little different. I'm going to get more into my weekend videos on a regular basis now. And the weekend videos, I'm just going to really just talk about things that I want to talk about, not really anything stock specific, like any stock that I've been talking about recently, but just in general. So I want to talk about Q4 2021 rally. So that's what I'm going to title this video. What do I think the market's going to do in Q4? I think it's going to have a very bullish market. I think a lot of things in general are oversold right now just because of all the bad news that we've had in the past couple months. So just to bring up some of the bad news, we had, what did we have? We had all the bad news coming out of China, all the restrictions, all the regulations as far as like banning crypto, cracking down on gambling, the Evergrande housing crisis basically over there where they're defaulting. Just a lot of bad news in general. Supply chain shortages, really just, there's a lot of bad news in Q4. Everything was at a peak in Q2. Everything was rolling and doing great. And, a lot of bad news rolled in to Q3. So we're obviously going to see the Q3 earnings come out soon. I think some companies are going to beat expectations and some are going to pull back depending on what industry it's in. But I feel like all the bad news has been priced into Q3. Oh, also we had, Congress with the raising the debt ceiling, the small and large infrastructure bills. All that was bad news because they couldn't decide on anything. They couldn't agree on anything. Nothing was going to get passed. Everyone was butting heads. There's just a ton of bad news in Q3. So, I think all that's basically over. I mean, we have a game plan for almost everything now, minus the supply chain issue. But over time, that will work itself out. Like, that's not going to be something that's going to last forever. Like, let's be real. I think it's at the worst point right now. I think we're at the peak of it. And also inflation went up too. So that's another bad news thing. But, I think we're over all that, or we're at the height of everything. Crypto, this is something that, I've been kind of sleeping on, not really buying because I just don't like buying things if you can't evaluate things. That's just my opinion. But, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they've been just going up and up and up. Last week they had a crazy rally. Bitcoin's almost at highs, record highs. Ethereum's probably close to it too. But, I think crypto is going to have a really big year next year. You have more regulation, the SEC looking at it and just trying to implement things. And I think they're doing that because they know it's getting so big. They need more regulation for it. The more regulation there are, the more banks and large companies will start looking into it and start implementing it and using it. So I think this is really good for crypto. I'm in Voyager and Coinbase, so that's my hedge on crypto basically. They're crypto brokers. So that's kind of my, that's kind of how I'm getting involved with Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, if there's a real good pullback in Ethereum or Bitcoin, I might actually start buying some. I'll make videos if I do. I just, I have very mixed feelings about it. So it will be less than it'll probably be 2 to 3% of my stock market portfolio, like total between the two. So very small positions in both, relatively speaking, compared to what I have in the stock market. So that's something I might do. I do think crypto is going to have a very strong year next year. Cash. So obviously stimulus checks were flying around. We printed the most money ever in the past 2-3 years. I think so many people have cash. Whenever the market dips or when there's an opportunity to buy something, people just take advantage of it. So I really couldn't see the stock market or really any kind of like real estate or anything like that. Anything that has a dip, people just instantly buy back. And usually it's between 3 and 5% when the S&P pulls back 3 to 5%. I've noticed in Q2 and Q3, this is kind of when people just plow money in and raise it right back up. I think this is going to happen for a couple years. So I'm not really scared of like a market crash or a housing crash. The Fed was very transparent on tapering. So we know that's coming. It's probably going to start next month in November, and they'll probably finish tapering in midsummer, probably July. And that's that. They're going to raise rates. But what's that going to do? You know, that's kind of in theory bad for the market, and it's bad for real estate too. So, you know, we're going to be fighting that next year, but I think everyone's prepared for it and they already have that priced in. But on the positive side, we have a lot of cash, and then we have supply shortages. I think these are going to improve. This is going to make the market go down. So really got to ask yourself, there's two bads and two really goods. You know, how's that going to balance out? I'm going to say the market does rally up in 2022, just because really the cash and supply chain shortages, a lot of people are going to beat earnings when they catch up. And then there's so much cash, you know, if it dips down, this is going to happen again. I guarantee it will. And also I think there's going to be more regulations on crypto. That's good. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. My cash, I have been sitting at like 30% plus all Q2 because it was running high, everything was great. During the September dip, I did go down to like 22, 23%. So I did deploy a lot of my cash. I'm kind of holding off for now. If we get a nice 3-5% S&P correction, I will go down to 15 to 20%. But obviously I add cash into my portfolio every month consistently. So it will go up if I don't buy. So right now I'm sitting at, you know, right around here. So, but I would go down to here basically if need to be. And if I do buy, I will make a video and let you guys know. My game plan, I'm just sitting tight until I see a correction basically. So correction as in, like I just said, 3 to 5%. If the market keeps rallying up, like last week we had a great week in the market. It was, yeah, I think we had green days every day last week. I'm almost positive. So my game plan is, you know, when the market's green, I rarely ever buy, like less than a 5% chance. I like buying when there's pain, fear, you know, everyone thinks the world's coming to an end. I like all that stuff because that, as a long-term investor, that gives you opportunity. So that's kind of my game plan. You know, this is where, you know, it's very important to have cash on the sidelines so you can take advantage of opportunity. You never want to run yourself dry. I also, which is an important thing to note, I have 0% margin. So I have no margin out right now. So my market portfolio is all my money and it's nice. So I have no call options, no put options, no margin. So that's very basic and disciplined in my opinion. Obviously if the market's at 52-week highs and like the S&P, NASDAQ and Dow are all at breaking records, like in my eyes, it can only go down from there. The margin to make that be beneficial is way riskier than just using your own money and having discipline and saving and then putting in your money when it's right. You can sleep better at night too because you don't get margin calls. So that's kind of how I look at it. Now, if we had like a 25% pullback, okay, maybe I'll use 10 to 20% margin and take advantage of that, you know, obviously. But I would obviously have to deploy all this. Then I would go here. So I really would have 50% of my portfolio if I did, you know, 23% here, and then I use 20 there. You know, 45% of my cash borrowing. With that, I could, I mean, that's a lot of money. So I don't think I'd ever get there with where I think the market's going, but that is an option I would have if I wanted to use margin. So that's all I got. Till tomorrow, again, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment below, and that's it. Peace.